Hello, I'm Lori Stoss. Welcome to Get Your Mind On. When you think about the word value, what comes to mind? Is it the value of something that maybe you purchase, or a property, or your own worth? Or is it something you believe in, something strong that attaches you to your values, your core values? Well, when you think about values, sometimes you think about the values maybe in an organization when you walk into your office and maybe there's a list of values posted on the wall, and many of you see those and you think about, well, how does that really attach to the work that we do? Well, the other day I was in Whole Foods and I happened to see what they had listed for their values, so I'm just going to share this. And it said this list reflects what is truly important to us as an organization. These are not values that change from time to time, situation to situation, or person to person, but rather they are an underpinning of our company culture. Wow, that was pretty neat to see that these are something that means something, and they really help you think about what do we attach to, how do we operate. And when you walk into an organization that has that, you can feel when they're actually living their values, the decisions they make, the service you get, the empowerment their employees have. It really, really shows. So you think about that, and then you also think about, well, maybe you're in an organization that has those values listed on the wall, but wow, nobody ever talks about them, or we really haven't talked about what that means to me. Do I attach to those values? So that's a very different feeling when there's values listed, but we really don't operate under those values. So let's look at this and take this maybe to more of a personal level when we think about values. When I ask individuals about what their values are, many times I hear things like honesty, integrity, and character, which those are all great values that we want to uphold to as individuals. And really it's thinking about what's important to you. So if you really stop to reflect your values and what's important, what's your underpinning connection to how you operate every day? So I'd really like to take some time today to think about that and think about what's that core. How do you know when you're connected to your core and what values are important to you? When I was at my last job, it was a bit challenging for me as I worked with one of my managers who our values were very different. The way we operated, one was trust, and I had a different view of trust than he did, and it just seemed to get in the way a lot. And what I recognized is there were a number of things from a values perspective that we didn't align on, and I found that very difficult to operate day to day when we were working with clients because we saw things differently. That made me feel uncomfortable, and I knew eventually I had to make that move to leave, which I did because it just didn't feel right and fit right to me. Although that was really difficult, I really realized that that was my brand and those values were things that I need to operate from every day. So when you think about those values, let's take a minute to discover what those would mean to you. With the positive charge today, I'm going to give you an activity, and it's called the values activity. And with that activity, there'll be some sheets of that you can cut apart and make cards. There's a large stack of cards, as you'll see here. And these cards are different values, many different types of values, from family to wisdom to integrity, respect, could even be recognition. And they have a little 2-line definition as well on them. So I really want you to take some time to think about your values. And there'll be instructions with this, and I want you to sort down to your top 10 values. And those values are things that need to be important to you, not what anybody else wants, but things that you need to operate from. And I want you to really think about what that means to you. So take some time to do that. When you really think about a time when you're at work or you're struggling with something personal, really go back and think about those values and read them and go, wow, maybe I'm disconnected. Maybe that's why I'm feeling not so good about something. When I went through that personal experience, I thought maybe something was wrong with me and wondering, gosh, what am I doing wrong? I'm not being able to figure this out, when really it wasn't that. It was just that I wasn't connecting to my true value. Brian Tracy has a great analogy of this values, and thinking about when you think about a car, and a car has 4 wheels that need to be in alignment, and when your car is in alignment, it runs very, very smooth. Well, that's the same way when you think about your thoughts and your feelings, your goals, and your values. If you're that car and have those 4 components of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and values, if those things are aligned, your life is going to be a lot better and go a lot smoother and really help you achieve what you need to achieve. For our positive charge for today, I'd like you to go back and think about those values. Remember the little card activity that I mentioned to you? That will be posted as an activity. So take some time to go through and understand what your values are and do that card sort. Second, after you've done that, I'd like you to take out your phone and put in a contact called values. Within that contact, in the notes section, list your top 10 values. That way you have that handy for you, and really when you're thinking about not feeling good about something or just feeling disconnected, go back to those values and evaluate maybe what that is for you, that maybe you're feeling disconnected. And one example might be that family is a huge value of yours and you've been overworking or working a lot at the office and not getting a lot of family time, so you're feeling a little disconnected. So this helps us get back and get re-grounded when we look at those values. You might also put a Post-it note on your computer or in your office with those 10 values. That way they're very close to you and you can review them every day. That way as you operate through your day, it gives you something to reflect back to. And finally, the last thing is really just when you get into a time of maybe feeling disconnected, just go back and stop and evaluate. Are you feeling alignment with your values, that you can truly live in transparency every day? Thank you for joining us, and remember to get your mind on.